Hey there, everyone. Before we get started, spoiler warning ahead. Undertale, an indie role-playing game that changed the way we view standards in gaming. A game where you play as a child who is quite literally falling into a world of monsters. Your venture will be determined by what actions you decide to take. Will you be a pacifist that in turn hopes that they return that kindness? Or will you be a monster that leaves nothing at chance? Or perhaps you just want to do the bare minimum and survive. I'll leave it at that. This is what I want to go over today in the GameSpace. Undertale, and how it changed and maintained its morality system. How's it going, everyone? It's me, Joshua Harlock Adam, again here with the GameSpace. So let's get into it and talk about Undertale. So the game takes place immediately after waking up before falling into the underground, and you immediately encounter one of the many denizens of the world. And this is a critical point for players because it lulls them into a false sense of hope, claiming to be your best friend. After immediately betraying you and your trust, most players find it then difficult to trust the next person that you meet. It then leaves the player at edge, waiting for the next betrayal to happen. But then something strange happens. You grow more attached to this one character, and you're hoping that in return, they don't betray you like the previous denizen did. They're trying to show you that through kindness, you can overcome any obstacle. This leaves the player at a crossroads, feeling conflicted, because now you have to make micro decisions for everything that you encounter. You also have to decide whether or not you want to go with this advice or the previous advice that you just had. This is then tested at the next boss fight, where you choose whether to kill or be killed, or to try and find another positive solution. Most players, including myself, made the mistake of not being able to find the perfect solution. And I can guarantee that I'm not the only one that couldn't solve this the first time. But what if we didn't like this turn of events? Let's rewind and see what will happen. So now we've figured out the proper solution. But the game won't let us get away that easily. As in the next room, we'll encounter our best friend again, and he'll call us out on our shenanigans of resetting. And this is only the beginning of the game, let alone the first playthrough, or what they can encounter for that matter. Toby really did a great job making the player feel connected to the characters, and the decisions that they are destined to make. But it's at the end of that, the game decides to hint at a route that it might feel like we want to take, whether it be the pacifist route or the genocide route. The game also changes depending on which route you take. Let's say, for instance, you took the pacifist route. Well, you'll have a wonderful time meeting characters, building the world, but you'll also have the most difficult time when it comes to having to face your problems. With most RPGs, you get stronger as you battle and as you gain experience and you level up. Without that, you're stuck at the beginning, which gives you a really tough time, but I think it's worth it. Or, on the opposite side of things, you take the genocide route. Sure, you'll have an easier time battling it out, but the game kind of punishes you for this. It slows down the music to a crawl, making you feel like you're wading through an empty world. Here's an example. I'll play one track, and then I'll play the genocide version of that same track, and you can see for yourself how empty the world might feel afterwards. Spooky, isn't it? Even if you complete the genocide route, that's it for you. Game over. As even if you try to go back to a more gentler pacifist route, the game's already been tainted by the genocide route. I won't spoil what I mean by this, but just take my word for it. There are many decisions that change where you may end up in Undertale. From finding a secret laboratory filled with secrets that probably shouldn't be unearthed, to fighting the hardest boss in the game, to finally the numerous amount of endings. From the biggest changes to the smallest detail that you could miss if you're not paying attention. This is what makes Undertale's system of choice so unique compared to other games. It's not something that just is, oh hey, I'm evil now, and I glow red. It leaves a lot more. It makes the player feel rooted and connected to the world. It empowers their sense of choice. It really allows them to carve out their own experience, even if the game judges them for it. Hey again everyone, thanks again for listening in and letting me talk at length about one of my favorite games, or at least an aspect of it anyway. There's so much to talk about when it comes to Undertale that it's kind of hard to pinpoint what to talk about. Definitely expect more. Who knows, maybe next time I can get a guest or two. Anyway, this was fun. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do as you will. And if you want, keep the conversation going in the comment section. Or leave a suggestion for what to talk about next. And as always, I'll see you in the next discussion.